Hello viewers, sorry for the late start tonight. I just had to get my caffeine fix going. I'm trying really hard to give up coffee, but it's not going super well. And by coffee I of course mean energy drinks and all that junk as well. Anyways, tonight we're going to be doing a little bit of game dev. Trying to implement some sprites that I kinda sorta made half decently the other day. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes from there. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Oh crap. Well, apparently you couldn't see me for any of that, but, well, anyways, I just pushed the wrong hotkey. Don't mind me. Alright. Work in progress. So anyways, what are we doing? Let's bust our game open here. And there we go, we have our game up and running. That's just complaining about our favicon, which we don't have. No problem there. So, first things first is we're going to have to build a new scene out and specify a little bit of physics properties. Ooh, yes. Very exciting, that. Just gonna get the Twitch chat going on my phone here so I can see if any and all of y'all are chatting about stuff. Alright, cool. Anywho, yeah, step one is just getting a new scene for our whatever scene this is gonna be. I guess this will be like the camp scene or something, because we were talking in previous streams about doing up like a little camp, sort of like an in-between levels level where you can shop for upgrades and all that stuff. Hey Fruity Dude, what's up? Glad to see you can make it. Whoopsie daisies, this is my buddy's thing. We don't need to have that open. We'll switch over to our game. There we go. Alright, just let that the colors all catch up and we should be good. Yeah, so, like I said, first thing we gotta do is we gotta make a new scene. Gonna call this one, I don't know, maybe camp scene? Sounds appropriate. Or maybe we should organize it a bit better than this, actually. Yeah, let's add a folder first. We'll call this one levels. And inside of levels, we'll say camp scene.js. Or maybe Africa camp scene, because who knows, maybe the other countries will all have their own little camps as well. Come on, I don't know how to type on my new keyboard. Anywho. Hello viewers, welcome to our stream here. We're just making a new scene for the level that we're working on. That is all. it a key that we can remember. So we'll just say Africa camel. So I'm thinking this game's going to start in Africa, but it could go all over the place. Who knows what countries will be featured. So anyways, let's just throw a create function in here. Oh, I totally didn't update my stream info. I just realized that. Whoopsie daisies. Stand by. Sorry folks, just forgot to do stuff I should have done before I started streaming. Just dove right into it, I was too excited. I was probably going to break it up into 2 streams again, but that's okay. Gotta do what you gotta do. Cool. Alright, anyways. Back to what we were doing here. So for now our preloads, or our create function is just gonna, wow, not do that. Going to log to the console that it actually worked. So can't create. Sure, whatever. Doesn't matter. This is just for us. This isn't for the game. And we've got our scene there. So next we got to make our button clickable. Now, if I recall, the way to do that is to set interactive on the button, and then, I don't know, I guess an event? That would only make sense. So let's just do it on the new game button. Maybe add a new section down here for functionality. UI functionality. So we'll say new game button dot set interactive true, and let's just log out that button real quick so we can find the function that we need to set, or the function we need to use rather to set our event. I think it's just the regular add event listener stuff, but I could be totally wrong. Whoops, that didn't like that. Funny, it's erroring from input manager in phaser. That's not the best. Let's just look up a real quick tutorial. That's what I always do in times of crisis. Probably a better way of doing that, but mostly just looking for this here, the phaser labs. Yeah, this is all we need. Other input perhaps? Pointer, that's the one we want, because that should work on both touchscreens and on mouse. Although I don't know that these are pointer buttons, that seems promising. I mean, we're not trying to draw boxes, but who knows, it could be helpful. Let's see. That's neat, you can disable the right-click menu. Didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, okay, so this is using a different on. Although, actually, it's probably the same. I bet you it's the same function, we just have to set the thing as interactive properly. Dragging, maybe? Yeah, this is probably Or this, I bet you, if it has like a built-in thing for drag, I'm gonna get mad. I just want a simple click. Oh no, no, here we go, this is what we want. Oh, it has to be a sprite, that's why it's complaining about the interactive, one we called set interactive. I guess that doesn't work on an image. So okay, new game button, we gotta fix up here then. Instead of this.add image, we're gonna say sprite. And we're gonna have to have another thing in here. We're gonna say new game button dot something to do with physics, set physics or set doesn't look like they're doing it, but they don't have a physics thing specified. So we do, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we've got arcade physics on right now. Alright. That'd be great if I could type. Body.disable maybe? No, this is V2. Hang on. This is what we want. There we go, enables or disables gravity's effect on this body. Okay, that's what we want. So we say body, what was it? Set allow gravity. And we're going to say false so that our buttons don't fall off the screen. And now, down here, we should get no more complaints. With luck. Oh, hold on. We are indeed getting complaints, great. But it's about our mist gradient? That doesn't make any sense. Oh no, whatever it is, it's going like crazy, so we better figure it out before the thing crashes. Of null. Okay, so apparently it thinks that's null. So it doesn't blow up the stream on us or anything. Okay, maybe it's... I'm sure it's stop body, but just try this, see if this does anything. Nope, it's still exploding. Okay, great. That's really too helpful. Crap. No, this is not. Well, maybe. Hang on, let's see. Oh, body.allow gravity equals false. That's odd. Huh. So... Oh, but this is on a group. This isn't on... Why is nothing ever just simple and there for you? Okay. be. I mean, it came up, so... Nope. Come on, I don't want this whole stream to just be me Googling stuff. For God's sake. Ugh. That's what I did, and it was screaming at us, for goodness sake. Okay, well, then... Maybe it's... Oh, I think I've got this wrong. Wow. Physics dot... No, what? How do you... Yes, this dot physics dot add dot sprite. That's... Sorry, viewer. We'll get there. I feel like it's crashing. Still, really? Okay, what's the original error? Let me just see. It's still saying it's not a fucking function. Holy shit. Come on, are you serious? Really? Cannot read property sprite of undefined? So like now you tell me that. Okay, yeah, it would be good if I spelled physics right. It'd be good if I knew how to spell physics. Just try it, see if it blows up. Basically my motto for debugging everything. It is certainly blowing up, but let's see, why is it blowing up this time? Stupid. Can we code the JavaScript or something? Cannot read property add of undefined. Again, apparently I'm not using physics right at all. Can we just, like, this dot physics dot add. Dot sprite, right? Yes. How am I this bad at just using like a single function? How is that even a thing? Work in progress, we're gonna get there. We are going to get there. Okay, look, we have a running game that only has 15 errors this time. mouse on them. Okay, that's weird, but there's that. Yeah, that's weird. So input manager hit area callback is not a function, or input dot area callback is not a function. Just gonna reload this and see if our button actually does show up, because it was cut off there, but it kind of was there. It's freaking out, but no, it's kind of not there, is it? Okay. Oh, but that's because we haven't set the body to... Okay. Hopefully... Wow, if I could save instead of highlighting everything. Hopefully this won't explode this time. Okay, good. That error's still coming up, but... Any luck, our button's actually going to be in place. There we go, new game. It's there, it's not falling down. It's good, we have buttons that don't fall down. That's a good start. I don't understand this. So it's saying that the hit area callback function there is not a function. So that must be like a required function somewhere that I'm not setting, I would think. But where do you set it? Resort to Google, since this is an internal error, and I resort to Google for everything anyways, so. Curious about something. I want to see something really quick. Does autocomplete actually know what that is? No. Or you know what? Better yet. Let's just bring up Phaser 3 docs. Alright, Phaser 3 docs. Interactive. Why can't I search? Are you loading? Yes, you were loading. And it'd be good if I could spell set interactive. And it gives me a trillion bazillion results. That's wonderful. Thank you for that. I'm assuming this is all stuff that's inheriting from maybe game object or something, but whatever. Set interactive. Yeah, okay, so apparently it requires a callback. Hit area callback. Yeah, okay, so that's what it's screaming at us about. Cool. Alright, so I think we've figured it out, more or less. A callback to be invoked when the game object is interacted with. If you provide a shape, you must also provide a callback. Oh, what is shape? Whoops. Am I not supposed to be providing that? Is there just like an enable, disable interactive? What is this music? I don't really not feeling this so much. Sorry guys. Not usually set directly, instead call game object set interactive. Yeah, okay, so that's what we're doing. Oh, here we go. An object that is disabled for input stops processing or being considered for input events, but can be turned back on again at any time by simply calling set interactives with no arguments provided. Okay, cool. So we just need to call it with no arguments, apparently, not true. Interesting. So I guess when you call it with the first argument isn't actually like if it's interactive or not, it's like a shape. There we go. Yeah, it's not screaming at us anymore. Cool. Doesn't do anything yet, but that's the next step. Let's have a look at their events, because I know they've got quite an event system on the go. They've got emitters and all this stuff, but we just want once, perhaps, actually. What their example's supposed to be doing, but no, they're using all that. I know that's not what I'm looking for. Listen to a game object event. I don't know. Yeah, it's always like emitter stuff. That's not what I'm looking for, though. See, I'm looking for. That's for like creating your own custom events, which is not what I really want to do at this stage. I just want to hook into like pointer events. Let's see. Buttons and those are 3. Yeah, that's okay. So we call set interactive with no arguments, like we did. Okay, so it is just on, and cool. Pointer events, alright. Nice, done deal. So this dot new game. Start Africa camp. So in theory, that should give us a button that will change the scene when we click it, if all goes to plan. But it didn't. But it got that far. So maybe I just have to bind it to set the right context. Oops. Much like React errors of old. Not that old, I guess. A little old. Hey, look at that. It's not throwing any of our... Did we even put a console log in here? We did. Can't create. Okay, so funny that that wasn't called, but took us to a different screen, that's for sure. Oh right, I didn't even include it in the thing. In our scenes, gotta do that. camp scene is now in our scenes array. We should be good to go. Oh, hold on. No, we're not. Not quite yet. Export default. Africa camp scene. Now we should be good to go. Camp create. There we go. We are officially in the camp scene. Brilliant. Just gonna check something really quick here. Make sure there was no activity while I was away. Okay, now we're good. Alright. I guess for the next part, yeah. For now I'm thinking we'll just make a couple simple platforms that could just be like, you know, doesn't matter, just some squares, some rectangle images. So for that, I'm going to install GIMP, and I'm just going to use the Ubuntu Software Center for that. So I don't think I have GIMP already. Let's just double check. No, I do not. Song either. Sorry about that, no copyright sound. Alright. Got GIMP. And it's been a roller coaster, but you stayed. And now I'm taking over for the day. 'Cause I can be what you wanna be. And I can feel but you laugh at me. Take me to cool. Draw us up a couple platforms. That's a cool picture. I like their new loading screen. Looks good. 2.1 the latest version? I don't know. As long as it works. Let's say width of 300, height of 50. It's decidedly platform sized. Fill tool looks like this. No, that's blur. That's fill. There we go. FP sounds good. Let's just make that kind of a brown color. Something like that, and just darker. Is there not just? No, that's good. It's not important. We want, but we don't want it to be huge. We want it to be space. That's not it, is it? No, size. Here we go. Hello viewer, welcome. Just drawing up a little platform for our guy for our physics-y first actual scene that you can move a character in. If that made any sense at all. Alright. Call this dummy platform. And we'll throw that under games, no place like, source, assets, images, and dummy. Export. Cool. No, we really don't need it. Alright. So, this is our game so far, by the way, if you're just joining us for the first time ever. We now have a working button that takes us, when you click new game, to a black screen. But that black screen is not going to be a black screen for long. Who knew? So first things first, from our preloader screen, we need to load in that image. We'll call this dummy dump? No, dummy plat. I just call it the whole word. Asset slash images slash no, not that. Dummy slash okay, so we've loaded that in, given it a key. Now, we can go like this. Create, you gosh darn thing. This dot physics, see if I can actually spell it this time. Dot add, dot sprite. No, sprite would be add image, I think. What would it be sprite? Can you add images to physics? I don't know, let's find out. This is going to be annoying. We're going to have to make this not a thing. Oop. Okay, well we have a falling image apparently. What was it? Set allow gravity? What was it? Set allow gravity? Oh, my memory kind of go. 2. Alright. And there is a platform in the middle of the screen. Look at that. Alrighty. I guess next thing we gotta load in is our sprite sheet for our character. That I'm gonna hunt down an example. World bodies, really? I think there was a little bit more to loading a spreadsheet. You're not very helpful. You. These are all very good questions. What is the frame of the night? I have no idea. So we better find all that out by first figuring out where I actually saved it. Oh. I think this is not the actual image. No, that's not the right one. Sprite size. Cool, okay, so that tells us which is which, so it's sprite size is the one we want to copy. Just do that first. Again, sounds like a DJ to me, but that's okay. Maybe he is a DJ. It was sprite size was apparently the one we were using, so alright. Can't open it like that. Gotta go where? What is the program called? Synfig. Now let's just see what our frame width and height are, and then we can get on out of here. Copy these. 87 by 102. 2. Alright. Close out of that so that hopefully the stream doesn't suffer. But it's not images slash dude, it's images slash sprites slash Africa or MC Africa? Is it MC Africa or Africa MC? I'm getting it all backwards. Assets, sprites, MC Africa. Okay, so we'll keep it the same here too, just to make it slightly less confusing. I'm just going to separate that out on different lines, just because to my eye that looks a little nicer, it's easier to read. Alright, so in theory we should be loading everything in okay. Value text image 2D with their height out of range. That's awesome. That's totally what you want to see. Maybe because I've got a weird number with, I don't know. We'll find out. Wow, this is a bit fancier than the other examples. He's actually making a new class for this sprite. Cool. Not quite as advanced as what we want to do just yet, but that's really what we want to do right there. Well, actually a bit of all of this, really. I have a few platforms, so snag that add static group function. That's cool. Just go like that. Yeah. You don't have to tell it allow gravity false, because I guess the static group does that for you. Cool. And let's say plus 350. Same height, same y, I should say. We'll get one at minus 350. Another one at plus 700. Plus 350. Should be a few platforms for us to jump around on. Now, add some dummy platforms. Next after that, sprite to jump around on them. So I really like how he made a class for that sprite. I would very much like to do that in the future for our stuff. Oh, we are going to need synfig open again to figure out all the different points in the animations, but that's okay. We'll do that shortly. Oh, okay, so yeah, just add a sprite, that's it. So C equals this dot. Wait, excuse me. X1 first? Yep. Cool. That should, if we've done everything correctly, drop our little dude. I don't know what this warning is about. That warning's freaking me out, but hopefully it's nothing. I mean, it's not nothing, but hopefully it's not anything critical. And yeah, we don't have a guy. Or, okay. Platforms seem to work. I'm just gonna change something up here so we don't have to watch that title screen every single time. Preloader. Call this, what is it? African King? Yep. Okay, so got our dude being added to the window, but he's not appearing. Or he's appearing in much the wrong place. Let's just say, let's just change that to 0. Still not seeing him. I would expect him to be up here, right in the center at the top, but he's not. We did change the key, right? No, we didn't even give a key. Okay, well, that would help. MC Africa. This probably will have it now. No, it still didn't. Oh, I saw something pass though, fall down. I guess we gotta add the collisions as well. So we'll just follow what they're doing and set the bounce. They have 0.2, I don't want any bounce. Interesting, so static group, okay. Learning new things. I think static group doesn't have any physics properties or any interaction properties either. Whereas the group must have all of that stuff, but you can disallow gravity, but still get all the interaction stuff. That's how I'm choosing to read that. And here we go, add collider, okay. Again with the auto-completing create. That's not what we want. We do want, however, set up collisions. Say this dot physics dot add collider. And then we pass in the C and the platforms. Okay, so in theory, we might have a guy who lands on the platform now, or a bunch of errors. Okay, I've probably messed this up again. Yes, with the create. Get out of here, VS Code. Okay. Okay, so it's not working, but something with WebGL isn't working either. So hold on, before we do any of that, let's turn on that physics debugging thing, because that, I bet, is going to be real helpful for us right now. Which I think is just debug true in the physics. No? Okay. Great. Awesome. Or maybe it's in arcade. Please work. There it is. Okay, cool. Okay, good. So we have a guy, but that's looking big though. That's looking too big, I think. Well, no. Actually, no. 87 by 100. Okay, yeah, wait, no, maybe this isn't right. I'm like expecting the buttons to already work. Okay. Perhaps it's not loading it in properly. Assets, images, sprites, mcafrica.png. Assets, images, sprites, mcafrica.png. That's alright. Okay, let's see what Google has to say about this. Copy. Doesn't look like there's a lot of Phaser 3 related stuff that people are running into with this. Great. Width or height out of range. Invalid value, text image 2D, width or height out of range. Is that song again? Really? Probably wasn't, but I'm trying to cut out caffeine, so I'm edgy. Alright. Unsuccessfully, I might add. Whoa, the width is huge. Oh, but that should be right? That's... Oh man, I wonder if my image is like actually too big for phaser. Because it is kind of outrageously huge. It's like half a meg of PNG with the height of... Well, that's the width. That's your 12,650. Alright, back to GIMP. We're gonna draw a little temporary guy. Dummy guy. He'll be much smaller. Let's say his frame height and width is gonna be like, I don't know, like a width of 50, so 50 times how many frames? Like 10 frames? I don't know. Not even 10 frames, that's too much. Let's just say 1 frame, 2 frames for idle, 2 frames for running, so that's 4, 1 for up, 1 for down, so 6. So 6 times 50, 300, and 300, and the height will be 1. Grid, horizontal 100, vertical, oops, no, sorry, horizontal 50, vertical 100, okay, and show grid, show grid. There we go. And those are our frames. Turn toward me and look so weak. I've never seen you with such tired eyes. And everything we said we'd be, we just traded for a suit coat and a tie. Very professional, this is some masterful sprite work I'm doing right now. Very, very, very precise work, this. He's just gonna have a weird growing head for his idle animation. And his running is just gonna be him literally lifting one leg and putting the other leg down. One leg down, one leg up. Shorter arms for some reason. Man, if that's actually what it is, I'm gonna be, you know, a little disappointed. I was actually hoping that the only, like, craziness of having a huge image that big would be the fact that it is crazy to load in a half megabyte sprite in a Oops. In a two-dimensional game like this, but I was hoping it was just gonna be user craziness and not, you know, not actually like a technological limitation, but I guess we'll find out. Yes, master of the sprites I am. That sounds like a thing that would actually be in a fantasy game, like master of the sprites. That can be his jump. Sort of, just with a shorter arm that doesn't extend into the next frame. And then possibly the worst sprite I've ever drawn. But we don't need to get bogged down in those details just now. Something like that, maybe his arm's up now. Sure. That's our sprite sheet, all right. Hello, viewer. If you're just joining us, my working theory is the sprite sheet I've got that I'm trying to load into my game engine is too big for said game engine and it's exploding. So we're trying to make a smaller sprite sheet. We're gonna call him Guy. Export. I'll keep it open for now. So instead of MC Africa, we're gonna load in Guy, sprites, no, not sprites, it'll be dummy slash Guy. Frame width will be 50, frame height will be 100. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if this is what the problem is. I'm, again, a little disappointed, but not entirely surprised. Let's load in. Just gotta change that in one more place. Not MC Africa there, but Guy. Save that. Disable our debugger. Reload. Yeah, look at that, that's all it was. Bummer. So I guess that giant sprite sheet is out. Okay. So then I guess we can just carry on business as usual, except we'll just be using this dummy sprite sheet for now instead of the actual one, which is a bummer because we put a lot of work into the actual one, but gonna need to simplify that a heck of a lot. So keyboard.create cursor, is that function we just jacked? I am gonna have to change realized that my spacing's all whack. Good on everything except for the scene I just created. Probably because it was auto-detecting indent using spaces. Bear with me for a moment, viewers, or lack thereof. Just gonna fix up all the tabbing here because I prefer 2 spaces to 4. That was a little quick and painless. Now, not create, get out of here, VS Code. I guess MC is going to have to be a more globally variable as well. This dot MC, and here in the colliders, we'll change that to this dot. Now we should be able to call them down here and say dot, is it set velocity x? Yes, it is. A little bit more to set up than that, but ooh, no, okay. That would make sense if we had a line 51, but we do not. Oh. Don't know what that is. Our transpiled line 51 still tells us what it is. Isn't that handy? So, okay. Stop being on the console. Hey, look at that. We can run off the screen now. Great. Set up a little bit more control logic. There, control logic. Set velocity x 0. So that's if we're pushing no buttons. Now if we're pushing right, right dot is down. This dot MC dot set velocity x will be 100. Eventually we'll replace those with speed constants, or perhaps not even constants if we want to be fancy and have variable speed, although screaming at us again. Oh, with that create again! VS Code, piss off. Okay, Jesus, there we go. So now we have a character that we can move left and right. Cool, look at that. And we'll say, so that's control, we'll call that left, right control logic. Again, it's like touching or something. Body dot touch left. So if this dot cursors dot up dot is down, makes sense somewhere. Up dot is down. If up is down. If up is down, yeah, that makes sense. That's worth a photo. That's funny. If up is down. mc.body touching.down. I think that's all you need. Velocity y this time instead of x, and we'll set it to -400. So that, in theory, should have a working jump now. And then after this, we can get the animations all sorted out. Whoa! There's like a little power shoot forward. That's cool. Totally unintended, but maybe because I'm just using player. Wow. This dot mc dot set velocity y. I don't know why that did anything to the x, but wasn't the right code. So look at that. Woo! There we go. We have a jump. Doink. I'm gonna swap that out with a this dot mc speed equals, let's say, 200. So we'll say negative this dot mc speed, and we'll say this dot mc speed. All right. We could do the same with jump, but for now, this is gonna have to do. Boink. Got an idea for something that will be controversial at best, but else if this dot mc dot body dot touching dot down. Welcome, viewer. We're just getting some player control logic for our exploding game. Cannot read property body of undefined. Hey, that's because I've got it 3,000 times. What? No? Oh, again with the create! VS Code! Get lost! Holy crap. Okay. What? Oh, cool, it does work. So now our velocity x will be the same. You can only stop when you're on the ground. If you jump and let go, you're gonna follow through with that jump, which is neat that it works, but I think we're gonna let people be Mario about stuff, because Mario physics for life. Cool. Like? Yeah, okay, that's a little better. It's not more realistic, but at least it's you know, this is Mario style. This isn't Halo style. Okay, so now I guess next thing's next. We'll set up the animation for our very basic, dumbed down sprite. Set up sprite animations. And we are gonna refer straight to this. And just comment that out, and we'll type our own, but we've got that there for reference. Ooh, okay. There we go. So this dot anims dot was animals dot create, pass an object, and key will be for this one. Just say wa or idle first. Idle frames. This dot anims dot generate frame numbers, and we're gonna pass in our guy sprite. Guy start frame will be 0, and will be 1. Just the first 2 frames. And theory should work. We don't have that on there. And get rid of that. Frame rate, let's just make it 6 or something really small. Lost VS Code repeat would be -1, I think, is infinite. So yeah, that's what we want for their case too. Cool. So that's idle. Now that's just created in memory. That's not actually using it yet. So to use it, we're gonna want to, I guess, yeah, when we're not pushing a button and his velocity x is 0, then, or actually no, let's create a whole new section. This is just the control logic. We'll have a section for animation logic as well. That's how I like to do things. For animation logic, we'll say if this dot body, not this dot body, this dot MC dot body dot velocity x is not equal 0. So if it's not 0, it means it's either going forwards or backwards, which means we want to play our running animation, which we haven't created yet, but we'll get to that. Let's just play. Else if, actually no, we want to actually start, this will be the else if. We're going to start it with if this dot MC dot body dot velocity y is less than 0, which means it'll be going in the negative direction, which in our case actually down is up, so, you know, because math. So if velocity y is less than 0, it'll be going up, so we'll go like this. This dot MC dot anims dot play, and we haven't made this yet, but let's say, just say up. Let's call it up. I think the second parameter is if it's looping, or no, that may be right. Yeah, okay, looping maybe. True, false true, false true, false true. Just making new values for booleans. Don't worry, just changing history right here. Else if this dot MC dot body dot velocity y is greater than 0. This means we'd be falling, so this dot MC dot anims dot play fall, or maybe just down, let's say. True again for, I think, looping. Save all that. We don't actually have any of those. The only animation key we actually have so far is just, oops, so then else if velocity x does not equal 0, it means we're walking. Hey GX Evolved, what's up? Yeah, I've been streaming for 1 hour 26 minutes at this point. 1 hour 26 minutes. Yeah, sorry my schedule is all messed up right now. I'm trying to quit caffeine and it's not going well for me, as you can see. But yeah, so I've just been like awake and sleeping and with energy and without energy all day, so it's just been a gong show, quite frankly. Anyways, we're actually creating our little scene now with our little dude that we can run around with. Yeah, just getting something up there for now. I did create an animation for our character, like I made a sprite, like a big huge sprite sheet, but it turns out that sprite sheet is actually too big. You're right there with me. Yeah, fair enough, man. It's hard, dude. Caffeine's like a legit drug. They don't tell you that when you go to a coffee shop and you're like, yes, I'll have a Americano with 3,000 shots, but no, for sure. It's like, it's for real. It's a thing. Thanks, man. Yeah, this is it so far. We've got the physics debugging on, so it's kind of got some neat little lines for us and stuff. the hole isn't actually big enough for us to fall through, so we can adjust that in a minute. But right now I'm just setting up the animations for our sprite. And that's, I like to split that logic up in the update function. I like to have the control logic first, followed by the animation logic. That's just personal preference. Anyway, so if the MC's body's velocity x is not equal to 0, it means we're running. So we'll say this.mc.anims.play run. And again, I think that true just means looping. I don't really know for sure, but we'll find out. Now, last of all, last but not least, if we're just standing there not doing anything. Oh, and if VS Code could just leave me alone with this shitty autocomplete, my life would be so much better. Is that on the GitHub to demo? Not yet, but it will be at the end of this stream. Or midway through this stream, after we get this part working, maybe. Anyways, so this.anims.play, anims.play, we just want idle, the only animation that we've actually defined so far. You can turn it off and use the shortcut to pull up suggestions. Oh, the autocomplete? Oh, that's cool. I'll have to fiddle with that later, because that would be nice to not have it constantly. That's honestly happened, like, I know you weren't here, but that's honestly happened like 1,000 times during the stream already. It's just dropped in create randomly and giving us a bunch of bugs. Or just exploded our game in general. So anyways, we're gonna create a few more animations now. So we've got idle, next one up makes sense is run, which I can't remember for the life of me which frames that was on. Yeah, this is our wonderful sprite work for now, by the way. Yeah, you saw someone in the chat mention that, and it's been happening to me too, so annoying. It is annoying. So I guess frames 0, 1, 2, and 3. So 2 and 3 are our run animation. So start 2 and 3. Frame rate and everything else will be the same. So now we want, I guess, up and down. So up is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Start 4, and it's also end 4. It's just a single frame. It's not even an animation. It's just a picture. Hey, Emmanuel. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back, and I'm bad at telling people about my scheduling and stuff. I'm bad at scheduling, if you guys haven't noticed. I'm sure I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better, but it's a work in progress. Anyways, down is gonna just be 5, I guess. So yeah, frame 5. So yeah, so I'll just to catch you guys up, Emmanuel, now that you're here as well. We're working with this shitty sprite sheet that I made right here, just to get our little demo scene working. Because I tried. Okay, so you guys weren't. I don't know if you were here for this, but a little while back, I animated out an entire running animation, a really good running animation, a really good jump animation, a good fall animation, the works. However, let me show you how big that animation turned out to be. This one is the one I think we're looking for. Yes. So this is 9% zoom. Let's just go right into 100%. And this is how many frames we have for our animation. It's a few too many, I dare say. Now you can see he's running, jumping, falling, and yeah, that's it. But the point is, it's a huge file. It's half a megabyte for one sprite, which is obviously way too crazy. And I tried loading that into Phaser earlier, and it was giving me a WebGL like random warning, and it wasn't working. So I think the image was literally too big to be a sprite in Phaser. I didn't know there was such a limit, but apparently there is a limit. Anyways. Yeah, thanks. It's a bummer we're not going to be able to use it, or I'm going to have to figure out a better way to do it. I think we have to reduce the number of frames that is in that animation, because that animation had something like 140 something frames, and I think that's just too big for Phaser to handle at this stage. Can you use something to reduce the size? Yeah, maybe. I don't know if such a tool exists. Possible. But at the moment, I don't know of anything that would work. Like, I know of ways we could reduce the file size, but I don't think it was the file size that was the problem. I think it was the actual width of the image that was the problem. And I can't think of any way we could reduce that, unfortunately. Because that's what fits all the frames, right? But anyways, we should have all our animations in place now, so let's give it a test. Hey, he's just running for no reason, but that's fine. And he's only running. That's all he knows how to do, apparently. But it's... yeah, width is a different story. Yeah, exactly. It's tough. I don't know what the deal is with that. Anyways, okay, that's good. We don't really need that anymore. Get out of here. Less stuff I can have running, the better it'll be for you guys watching. But why is it only running? Maybe I've got the frames wrong? No, I don't think so. Let's throw in some console logs just to confirm or deny that. So if that's great, man. I'm almost 3 days without sleeping. Whoa! Lots of tasks to be done. Damn, man. Well, yikes. I hope you get some sleep, man. That sucks. I know that feeling too well, man. It's not fun for anyone. Apparently we're always running. Just kind of what I was expecting to see, I guess. I don't know what I was trying to prove with that console log. I guess we can... this would be a little bit more useful information for us. Let's log out the X and log out the Y. You're a beast, bro. Yeah, no kidding, Emmanuel. You are a beast for 3 days. That's intense. So, let's see. Undefined. Interesting. That would make sense that... is it just dot velocity x? I don't think so, but we'll find out. Nope, still not. Alright. What are they doing here? I don't think they're getting the velocity at all, are they? Philippines must have good coffee. Yeah, no kidding. How is the coffee in the Philippines? I wonder. Maybe it's just like rocket fuel. When you go to bed, your brain is analyzing how to solve the bugs. You want to sleep, but your brain doesn't want to. Oh man, that's like everyone's problem, man. I totally feel you on that. That used to just be my whole life, was just having it was just impossible to turn this off. And yeah, I know what you mean, man. I'm trying to stop drinking these, but it's not happening yet. Anyways, we just need a way to get the velocity. So I guess let's just, instead of like jumping straight to it, let's just console log that. And then hopefully we can inspect it and find, yep, okay, arcade sprite, cool. Okay, but we don't need to log it a bazillion 100,000 times, so let's just throw it up in the create. Coffee is here. It is everywhere. It's great, man. Nice. Why is it still logging? Oh, because we probably didn't get rid of it down here. Yep. Alright. Save that again. Switch over. Now we should just have it once. Boom. Arcade sprite. Let's have a look. Okay, so there is body. And... oh, okay. Yeah, there isn't a velocity X. Max velocity. That's not what we want. Whoa, angular velocity. Dun dun dun. This is getting beyond my knowledge of physics. Not that I have much to begin with, but... maybe we can just use acceleration. Let's see what that looks like. Acceleration dot X. I think you put your logic in update, you can move it so it will not play. Yeah, I'm just trying to base the animation logic off of the velocity is what I'm trying to do right now. So I know this works. I've definitely done this before. I just can't remember what the properties we're looking for are. And GX Evolved, you said, yo, Sarek Dan, are you putting the animation in the level itself? And would you eventually end up separating the character code from the level code and just use some function? Definitely, man. Yeah. At the moment, yes. We're just putting the code right in the level, but you're totally right. Eventually we'll have like a separate class for the sprite and have it all set up really beautifully and have it all just calling functions here and there and not all this tons of stuff in every single level. You totally got that, man. I'm doing it just like this for now, just to make it easy so we can see what we're doing and just debug it quickly, but... okay, cannot read property... oh, probably... yeah, it's not that, it's body.that. But yeah, I just need to figure out a good way of organizing it before I start splitting up code and having it nice and pretty. So apparently acceleration is always 0, so that's not going to help us really. Hey, how can you just get the velocity? You must be able to do that, right? Unless I totally don't understand velocity at all. Which there's a chance of, but... Phaser 3 get velocity. Apparently someone else has searched it before. Maybe it is like angular velocity and that's like a thing that we have to understand in physics, which I don't. It's just colliders, we've already done that. Okay. Oh, this is Phaser 2. That's not gonna help us. Oh, you know what we can do? Why don't we just assign it to a variable and just make our lives way easier? We'll just go like this, and we'll say... cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. velocity x equals 0. Negative, I think. Negative this dot anim speed. Not anim speed, MC speed. Velocity x equals this dot MC speed. And we don't even need the else actually, because it's going to be set to 0 at the start every time. So now we can just go like this and say this dot MC, wanting to say player, but it's this dot MC. Am I using Lightstream, asks Emmanuel. No, I'm back on OBS now. Lightstream wasn't working for me. It wouldn't let me go live for some reason the other day, so I'm just trying this. But I don't know, if you guys think it'd be better on Lightstream just in terms of like quality on your guys' end, definitely let me know and I'll try and figure that out again and maybe it'll be better for you guys. Anyways, this dot MC dot body dot set velocity x. No, you know what? That's not gonna work. Oh, what am I doing? Why can't I? You know what? I'm just gonna stand by, guys. I'm looking at one of my old games because I know I've done this before and this is driving me crazy. It shouldn't be this difficult. Stand by. I think I did it in Avon's Adventure. And we want source, scenes, game. Or no, this is not the branch. No, it is the branch, okay. I literally just did everything in one file. That's great. Oh, VX. Is that what we want? Log guy. We can keep this open for reference because we can use this. What do I want to do? I'm just trying to still figure out what the velocity is. Like, maybe I'm Oh, body dot velocity dot x, apparently. Okay, wow. I think I got it. I think I've got it. Just back it up, 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 back it up. Dum-dee-dee-doo. Okay. Velocity dot y. And apparently this worked at some point for my games, so hopefully this will work again. Should really change the name of this stream to like Kirk Learns Game Dev. Hey, look, I think it's working. Dun 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 dun. Whee! Cool. All right, that was it. That was all we needed. It was just velocity dot y, not velocity y. Cool. So I guess the next thing we could do is we could get the camera centering on him, so the camera follows him around. That'd be a useful next step. Yeah, thanks GX Evolved. Alright. Or you know what, here, I'll throw this up online so you guys can fiddle around with it and find bugs and whatnot. Okay, so... I'm just going through checking the diffs, making sure I'm not committing anything I don't want to commit. because I know I'm not going to want to commit 100% of this. I know some of this stuff I don't actually want to put online right now, aka like the giant, humongous half megabyte sprite of him and stuff. Oh, right. That just put everything on there, so that's great. That's not what we wanted to do. You can picture the face of the robot coming over the horizon and just going up. Yeah, just towering over the guy. Yeah, dude, exactly. That'd be sweet. Very cinematic. Now we should pick and choose from our untracked files. Cool. I guess it was just everything except that. Yeah, I can just go like this and go reset. I don't want to commit source, assets, images, sprites just yet. Okay, that ought to do the trick. Hale26, you're saying, did you animate him via GIMP alone, or do you plan to flesh him out? Of course. No, for sure. We are going to be fleshing him out. This file that I'm not committing at the moment, I'll show you guys what our final character is going to look like here in just a moment. I'll just put this online so you can play with it. And then, oops, actually, one sec. Yeah, it's fine for now. I'll fix it up later, but adds dummy level. Can I spell? Can I spell? Level. Oh, please tell me who you are. That's something I should probably do. New computer problems. Git config global user.email. Actually, you know what? I think I use this a little bit more widely. Guys, don't email this address because I won't see it because I haven't used it for a long time, but I used it for a lot of old accounts and stuff, so I gotta use that there. Sorry, I will show you what the guy's gonna look like just a second. I forgot I apparently haven't set up my Git config yet on this machine. Alright, cool. Okay, let's try that again. Commit. Let's just... There we go. Oh, you know what? I'm probably not going to be able to commit just yet, or push rather, because I haven't set up my SSH keys, so yeah, scratch that for now, but I'll come back to that later. I will get it online either at the end of this stream or directly after this stream, because I don't really want to show my SSH keys on a live stream. But anyways, I'll show you what our sprite looks like, what our actual sprite looks like. I gotta open that in Synfig. It might lag out a little bit on the stream because it is a kind of fairly heavy program that I'm using to animate it, but see how it looks. This is the one, hopefully. Yep, okay. So yeah, this is what our character is gonna look like. Something like this. We might tweak him and fix him up a little bit more, but I'll just let him run through his whole animation cycle a couple times so you guys can see. So it starts off with a little idle rock back and forth, then some running, then a jump, and a fall. That's it so far. Idle, run, jump, fall. So anyways, that's the animation of the guy so far. I just encountered an issue earlier where I exported all of the 144 frames that make up that animation into a single sprite sheet image, and Phaser kind of had a fit when I tried to import it. It did not. WebGL was mad. It didn't like it at all. So that's out for now, unfortunately. But I guess what I'm going to have to do is just come back and make all these animations again, but reduce the number of frames, probably. That's my theory, my working theory. If anyone knows any other way to get that stuff to cooperate, it would be good. But also the file size of the sprite was kind of ludicrously huge for a game. It was well, not for any game, but for our kind of game, it was ludicrously huge. It was like 0.5 MB just for this one guy. So realistically, that's not going to work for a web game. We are going to need a smaller sprite sheet. Anywho, that's what we got so far. And I guess I'm going to have to come back to pushing it online, but you've used Synfig before, but I'd also used Koa tools with Blender for 2D animations. Sounds cool. Yeah, I've never tried that. To be honest with you, I didn't even realize that it was possible to rig up 2D, like bend bitmaps with armature. That, like, I didn't even know that was a thing. So this is all blowing my mind. This is all a whole new world for me. I like his kind of dopey animation, his little running animation. Shape keys. Okay. It's kind of weird how his head like elongates and stops while he's idle, but whatever. Just gloss over that. So yeah, let's do the camera next. I've got about 30, 40 minutes left, so 35 minutes. So yeah, we'll do the camera, get that working. So by the way, viewers, I have to ask you guys, what for you is the best time for these streams? Is it better later at night, so like starting at like 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time? Or is it better to start it earlier, like 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time? If anyone has any thoughts on that, do let me know, because I'm trying to sort out my scheduling stuff at the moment, and yeah, input from you guys would be hugely helpful. Anyways, yeah, camera. So let's find a camera following example. 3D camera. What is that? Sorry, I must see this. No way. This is a thing? This is like a thing I was hoping on maybe developing later, but apparently it exists. 3D camera for Phaser. Are you serious? Can you... No way. That's amazing. We are going to have to make a game using that. Wow. I want to do that. I almost want to do that right now, but I'm terribly awful at getting distracted from my projects, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, we just want a basic follow camera. Follow offset, that's close enough. Hey, pretty baby, am I in your way? 'Cause you walked out so fast yesterday. No, I don't think you're here to stay. Ooh, that's cool how it's got a little bit of a... Yeah, I see. That must be what they're talking about with the offset. Cool. Neato. You're trying to fix my schedule, but evening anytime should be good, says GX Evolved. Can you apply it to a level for your game? The 3D camera thing, I was thinking of like a totally other game that I want to make that will utilize that. But for now, I want to just get like a basic follow cam working on on this guy, which looks like this example is going to help us out with. Yeah, cameras.main.start follow, and that's all you have to do, apparently. And in this case, they're showing off the follow offset, but I don't think we're going to need to use that right now. So we just have to say set camera, or just camera, I guess. This dot cameras. See, there's that create again. This dot cameras dot main dot start follow. This dot MC. And look at that. Now it follows us looking around. And we can actually explore the world a little bit. Whoop. Whoop. And now there's nothing and we're gonna fall forever. Whoops. But anyways, it works. Cool. And this is why it benefits to use an existing game engine instead of rewriting everything yourself. As much as I like to reinvent the wheel, it definitely pays to be able to just type one line of code and then have a working camera. That's pretty rad. Anyways, cool. So we've got our little thing. Guess why don't we just, I don't know, throw a few more platforms around or something so we can actually explore a little bit or something? I don't know, is there anything else you guys want to see in this this stream? I've got about 30 minutes left. Adjust some of these, say plus 200 instead of 350, so hopefully we can jump back up. We'll space them out a little bit more too. There we go. Emanwebs says, what Ubuntu version am I using? 18 point something. I'm using like the latest one as of like a few days ago, so whatever that one is. That 3D animation would be cool when showing the robots traveling back to Earth through space. Hey, yeah, rad idea, GX Evolved. Yeah, totally. We could use it for like a cutscene or like maybe even like an interactive cutscene would be really cool. And Hale26 says, what's the rational explanation for Phaser over something else? Rational being that like a lot of people don't like Phaser or something? I don't know, just because I wanted to make the game a web game, and I mean, you could reinvent the wheel and create a lot of this like platformer physics and camera stuff by yourself, but my rational explanation is, you know, if someone else has already built it and it's clean and it's modular, might as well just use someone else's code, right? I guess would be my rational explanation, but yeah. Anywho, let's make it a little bit bigger than 350 apart. So let's say like 450, and this would be 900. And we'll make one even further down. This will be plus 1350, 1350. And just plus 250 out. There, now you actually have to jump, otherwise you'll fall. Cool. Got a little world we can run around now. Cool. So that's our little world. Maybe I'll set up my SSH keys, but I'll just let you guys see my great ugly mug while I'm doing it so that I'm not showing off my SSH keys to the world. Let's just do that, why don't we? Hello, so you get to look at me for a minute while I do some sneaky top secret. You know what? Nah. I'll do this after the stream. I'll get it online right after the stream's over. But yeah, I don't know. Other than, so we've got camera, we've got physics, we've got some little basic animations, got a few platforms to jump around on. I would love to say we could implement touchscreen controls, but those are a little bit trickier than you would think. And also, for this particular game, the mobile experience is kind of secondary at the moment. Oh, you just meant that there are so many engines to choose from, said Hale26. Well, to be honest with you, man, the only reason I'm really using Phaser is a friend of mine recommended it to me way back when it was on like version 1 or something, and I just picked it up and I started playing with it, and really it's the only JavaScript game engine I've used, and it serves my purposes really well, and I like it. So it is a little big. I mean, our file size, let's have a look here. Our main.js is, how big? Doesn't it just show it here? 181 bytes, that can't be right. What? 181 bytes? No. Okay, well, I don't know what this is going on about, but generally you get quite a large JavaScript file, which is kind of a downside, I suppose, but it is a game engine, so I don't really know what else to expect. But yeah, I don't know. My reason for using Phaser is just I like it. My friend showed it to me, and I've been using it since like version 1 or 1.5 or something, and it's on to 3 now, so yeah. And I really like that version 3, well, that's not an example of that, but I really like that version 3, you can write it with the ES6 JavaScript, and it's all built so that you can extend and use like proper object orientation and stuff like that, even though that's not exactly what we're doing in these parts of the functions, but just with this part and keeping all your files modular and stuff and hooking it up to Webpack like we have, and yeah, that's what I like about it, personally. Well, you know what I think I'll do just for now is, why don't we, Point Blank Ted says 304 means it was cached. Oh! Right, okay, so that would be, yeah, okay. So let's just disable the cache and see what our actual JavaScript size is. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, thanks Point Blank Ted. Yeah, so main.js is 6.5 megabytes, so it is hefty for a JavaScript file. Thank you, super good pro tip. Did not know that. Well, at some point probably knew that, but didn't know that, so thank you. That's why only a few bytes. Yeah, I gotcha. That's the downside of using frameworks. It loads all the functions that you didn't use. Yeah, totally. And like that's why like a little while ago we were having the discussion about React.js versus Angular, and like framework versus libraries that kind of you put together to build your own framework in a sense. And that's why I very, very strongly prefer the React ecosystem. If something like that existed for JavaScript game development, would be totally stellar. I don't know, maybe there's a way to like break up Phaser into modules or something and only import what you need. That'd be really cool, but at this stage of the game, I don't really know how to do that. Yeah. I don't know. How about we just go do a little quick review of our the code we added for this this stream, and then I guess I'll just call it for tonight. So we added a whole new scene to our entire thing, which meant we had to go into our index file, import it, and add it into our scenes array, our scene array. And then in our actual scene, we have a constructor with a key that we're passing in, and this is just how we identify it in other scenes. So at the moment, I think I've just got our preloader scene launching this directly so that we don't have to look at the title screen every time, which would be down here. So yeah, this.scene.start, Africa camp. That key we're passing in is what we define right here. Then we're just defining a few variables that we want to have access to in each one of the functions here, not just one of them. Private variables, I suppose, would be the right terminology. I don't know. Probably not, because we're not actually defining them as private, but I don't know if you can do that in JavaScript yet. You probably can, but I'm a noob, so anyways. Then after that, we're adding we're creating a static group, a physics static group, which is like a group of objects in the physics engine that they don't have gravity applied to them, and they also don't have any interactivity applied to them, is my understanding of that. And we're just creating a bunch of platforms in this group by passing in the image key of the dummy platform, which we're loading in our preloader, right there. Then also in our preloader, after loading in the dummy platform, we're adding in our dummy guy sprite sheet, and passing in the frame width and the frame height, because this image is just a long image of each frame of his animation. Kind of how you do it for PNG animations, as far as I know. And then, yeah, so we create a bunch of platforms using that dummy platform key. Then, after that, we move on to adding our sprite that we can run around and jump on stuff with. So we're assigning that to this.mc variable so that we have access to it in the create function, as well as later in the update function. And we're assigning it to the this.physics.add.sprite function, which is just, as you guessed, probably for adding sprites. And again, we're passing in an x and a y and a key. So the x is just the window.inner width divided by 2, so center width, center x, I mean, and 0, so right at the top of the screen. And guy is the key of our sprite sheet that we loaded in earlier here. And we're also just setting the bounce to 0. If we set this to like 0.5 or something, I'll show you what the difference looks like. Watch when we hit, see? Doink, 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 doink. But we don't really want that, because that's a little bit trickier to deal with, and we want it to just be simple for now. Whoopsie daisies. And boop. There we go. So, oh crap, I keep switching over to OBS. Alright, so then after set bounce, after we've defined that to 0 so that it doesn't bounce, we're creating some animations. So we've got an idle animation, a run, an up, which is like a jumping animation, and a down, which is like a falling animation, even though they're not really animations because they're both just one frame long for the sake of our dummy character. But how we're doing this is we're giving each of them a unique key, again, so that we can identify them. So in this case, idle, run, up, and down. The frames, we're using this, again, another phaser built-in function to generate frame numbers. I guess this just returns the frame numbers in an object that phaser can figure out and understand. So we're passing in the key of our sprite sheet again, the start and the end frame of the animation. So in the case of the idle animation, the start is the first frame, which is 0 indexed. So it's the first frame is 0, second frame is 1. And if we look at our image for that sprite, I'll show you. Dummy guy. So, close please. So the, whoops, I mean, it's not really going to look like much. You're probably not really going to be able to tell much of a difference because really this is not excellent sprite work. But the first 2 frames are supposed to be his idle animation. So that's 0, 1, 0, 1. Then for the run animation, it should be 2 and 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So 2 and 3, these 2 are his running animation. Just throwing up one leg, then throwing up the other. Super basic, but it works. And then the up one is start is 4, end is 4, so up is just this frame. Down, same thing, but 5, and it's just that frame. That's really all it is. What's the issue on the sprite sheet with the 100+ frames? I'll show you guys if you want to see. Alright. So watch, if we try... hang on, I just need to open up Synfig one more time so I can get the frame width and height. But I'll show you what happens. Sprite sheet size, I think, is the one we want. Hopefully this isn't going to crash the stream. This is a pretty heavy program, but canvas, properties. Okay, 87 by 102. So basically we want to just, we can load in another sprite sheet, but this one will be MC Africa. Do you think before your next stream you could tweak the character you made to have a simple PNG file to use in the game as you build it out? Or will you do that later down the line? No, I could do that between streams. That could, I'll write that down. Make simple, that pen is dying on me. Sprite sheet. Yeah, I'll make that a goal, GXEvolve, but before the next stream I'll try and get a little basic version of this so we're not dealing with the little green guy. Do your homework, JK. No, dude, I need to. Honestly, I've just been flying by the seat of my pants. This is all just super thrown together, but I'll be better, I promise. 87 by 102. So 87 by 102. Nice, man. No worries. Thanks, dude. Anyways, last thing is we don't want this image path. We want images sprites / MC Africa.png. Now you guys shall bear witness. Did you upload MC Africa so you can check it? No, not yet. I have not uploaded MC Africa. And I don't think I'm going to just yet because at the moment it's like half a megabyte, which doesn't sound like much, but I want to try and keep our repository on the lower side. So just clear out all this stuff and then you guys can have a look. So see, this right here is the WebGL warning we're getting. Invalid value, text image, width or height out of range. So to me, I'm thinking that just means the width is way too big, which is kind of fair because it's, I'm pretty sure it's 12,000 something because it's like 144 frames. So let's see. Yeah, it's 12,615 pixels wide, which is why I think it's throwing up the this WebGL warning. I didn't know WebGL had limits like that, but apparently there is a maximum width, says Emmanuel Webs. I guess so. Yeah, I didn't actually realize that was a thing, but apparently, yeah, apparently it's a thing. Unfortunately. That's what I'm curious to see about with this game, is I'm curious to see if we start encountering the limits of phaser and what we're using. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually, yeah, we could put it on a second row. That would be a good way of doing it, maybe.
WebGL has a max texture size based on your GPU, says KidQueb. Thanks, KidQueb. Did not know that. Good to know. So that must be what that is then. And makes sense that we're exceeding it with a 12,000 plus pixel width image. Yeah. So, I mean, still got 15 minutes. So just a thought, why don't for the last little thing here, we throw in like a reset so that if your your Y, sorry, if the Y of the player goes below a certain limit, it'll just reset the scene, and it's like you died, effectively. It's not a width and height per se, more overall memory usage. I see, okay. That makes sense, KidQueb. Thanks, dude. Yeah, either way, we've got to optimize that image before we can actually put it in the game for real. So it's fine. It's kind of okay that it happened, actually. It just saves us going down that path later. Anyways, yeah, so see if we can do that in 15 minutes. It'll be in the update function of our oh, I didn't even finish the review. I just realized that. Well, okay, I'll finish the review first then. That would probably be more helpful for you guys. Point Blank Ted says, that many frames is probably a good time to start using Sprite Packer. Point Blank Ted, what is Sprite Packer? I've never heard of that. Believe me that I am a total noob. I come from like the Flash game development world, so all of this JavaScript game development stuff is basically new to me. Almost new to me. I've worked with it a little bit, but not extensively. So yeah, what is Sprite Packer? I'm curious to know. And anyways, so after creating all the animation keys, we set up collisions, which is super easy. We're just saying add a blocking collider between the character and the platforms group that we made earlier. And then for the arrow keys, we're just creating, this is another just little phaser helper function that just creates like an object with properties of all the cursor keys, like the up, right, left, down keys. And we're assigning that to our variable that we declared in the constructor so that we can access it in update, because we don't need to be creating the cursor keys on every single frame. That doesn't make sense. It makes sense to create them once and then tap into them on every frame. Anyways, Point Blank Ted says, it merges a folder of PNGs into a single optimized image. Wow, that's sick. Is that like something I can integrate with like Webpack or something? Shout out for the follow, by the way, Point Blank Ted. I had little bells and whistles that would explode all over the screen for that before, but they're not on the setup right now, but still shout out. It also generates a JSON file Phaser can read. Okay, well, that I'm adding to my to-do list then. I'm going to look into what that is all about so I can perhaps set that up in the next stream. Sprite Packer. Look into Sprite Packer. I'm literally just using a notebook as a mouse pad, so it's kind of like my notebook mouse pad duo. Anyways, and then just finishing off this review, we just set the main camera to follow the character. That's all for our create function. And then in our update function, we have the player control logic first, followed by the player animation logic. So for the control logic, this first block here is checking if the left key is down, or if the right key is down, or else if neither of them are down. It also, sorry, texture packer. Okay. Oh, nice. Thanks for the link, dude. I'll check that out immediately after this stream. Anyways, so if the left key is down, we'll change we'll set the character's velocity x to negative MC speed. MC speed is just another one we defined up here in the constructor, and just just an arbitrary number. It's just the speed, 200. And we set it to negative because we want it to go left, which in this case is backwards, negative. And then same thing for if the right key is down, but instead of negative, it's positive, so it's going the other direction. And if neither are set, we set the velocity, the x velocity, back to 0, because if we don't do that, watch what happens. So he falls, lands in one spot, and we push right to move, but, oh man, if we, that wasn't the best example, but if I take my hand off, you see, he's still moving, he's not stopping. So we don't want that. That's why we set it back to 0 in every other case. Then, player jump logic. So in this case, we check if the up, okay, so this is like the most confusing line ever, but it's kind of funny. So if this.cursors.up is down, so if up is down, makes a lot of sense. What it's really saying is if the up key is down and this.mc, so our player's body touching down, this is just a constant that Phaser will throw in there for us, and it says, is this character, is this sprite touching down being like the bottom. So in this case, it means like it'll be true anytime our character is touching the ground with his feet, his derpy feet. GX Evolve says, it's great watching you stream and then just chat helping. It's a beautiful thing. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. It's beautiful for me too, man. I'm learning like tons from you guys. Like, this is all stuff I had no idea was even existed, and I'm gonna be learning about and hopefully streaming about in the future. Anyways, so if the up key is down, so if they press the up key while the character's feet are touching the ground, is effectively what this line is saying. We'll set the y velocity to -400, which means he shoots up in the air. And that's it. That's it for the control logic. And then for the final little piece of this puzzle, the animation logic, we're saying if the character's y velocity is greater than 0, which means if he's, or sorry, is less than 0, it'd be great if I could read. If the character's y velocity is less than 0, it actually means he's going up. I know that's confusing, but if it's negative, if he has a negative y velocity, it means he's traveling up on the screen. So in that case, we want to play the up animation that we defined earlier, which is just his little jumping one. Then the same is true for the opposite case, where, well, not the same, but effectively a similar situation here, where if it's if his y velocity is greater than 0, so if he has a positive y velocity, that means he's falling down, so we play the down animation. And then if neither of those situations are true, so if he's not jumping up and he's not falling down, that means he's touching the ground. So, or for some reason is frozen in the air, but currently that doesn't happen in our game. So if the character's x velocity isn't 0, then we just play the running animation. So that means if it's true, if it's positive or negative, we play the running animation. In the future, we would actually check if it's positive or negative, and we would flip the sprite around, but since we're just working with such a basic little sprite, it doesn't really matter. It looks basically the same. And then last is if none of the above are true, and we just play the idle animation, which is this weird animation of his head growing and shrinking and him kind of dancing. And yeah, so that's effectively what we did for this stream. I know a few of you joined us a little bit later. It was kind of quieter earlier on, but I've been really bad about scheduling my stuff, so I'm working on getting on top of that. I'm thinking the new schedule moving forward, at least for this week, is going to be starting at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I know on my profile on Twitch it probably still says 7:30. I'm going to change that right after this stream. 9:30 p.m. PST. That's where we're going to continue development of this game. So yeah, I think that's effectively it, really. If anybody has any questions or anything, shout them out. But otherwise, I'm going to be shutting the stream down, I think. That is the last of it for tonight. Definitely seems like later in the night, people are more into it, though. So I'm going to, yeah, keep that in mind. Stream later rather than earlier. Hey, shout out for the follow, Hale26. Much appreciated. Yeah. So I guess in between streams, I'll figure out a way to actually export our real animation of the character, even if he has a few less than 144 frames. And I'll also have a look at that. Sorry, you said it wasn't. Okay, texture packer. Yeah, look into texture packer. I'm gonna look into that as well as potentially another way. Texture packer. Cool. As another way we can do things in the future. And yeah, I'll get this online after the stream so you guys can have a look at it. I'll put a link up to the repo on GitHub so you guys can have a look. So that's the game in development right now. And yeah. Anyways, Emmanuels, go to sleep. Yeah, fair enough. For real, man. Get some sleep. You need it more than all of us, and that's saying something because I need it too, but you really need it. So yeah, anyways, have a great night, everybody, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. 9:30 p.m. PST is when we'll be starting. Adios.